Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go-to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Hi, and welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Our next guest is a wife. She is a homeschool mom of 4. She's an expat. She is a former United States Air Force technical sergeant. She is now a certified executive coach with a master's in management and an upcoming MBA in marketing as well. You know what? She empowers entrepreneurs to step into leadership so they can grow their businesses with ease and authenticity. Help me celebrate this inspiring leader and transformational coach who's there just for you, Sutton McCraney. Hey, Sutton, how are you?
Hey, thank you so much. Wow, what an intro. That's probably the best one I've had.
I love giving you guys great, amazing intros because that's who you guys are. I mean, anyone who actually coaches other female entrepreneurs is amazing all in themselves.
Oh, I appreciate that. And thank you for creating this platform.
Thank you. So, what inspired you really? I mean, we went from Air Force to, management. You have MBAs coming out of wherever. So, tell us this. What empowered you to become the amazing entrepreneur that you are today?
You know what? Like most things in life, it has been a meandering path. This was not on my vision board. This is not what I had planned at all. While I was still in the Air Force, I wanted to open up a fitness boutique here in Morocco because I have an undergrad degree in exercise science. So that's what I really wanted to do. But that was right before COVID. And that just wasn't going to work out, with everything that was going on at that time. And in retrospect, I'm glad that it didn't, because that would have opened up a whole Pandora's box, if you will, that I hadn't really thought about, right? I just had this idea that I wanted to run with, but the logistics of it and everything, it just wasn't going to pan out. So it was definitely a blessing in disguise. So after that, I meandered. I started a podcast, which I was able to monetize. I started doing project management for a startup, went back to school and got my master's in management. And a friend of mine was starting their coaching business. And they came to me for advice because they knew how much I loved management, business, entrepreneurship, all that kind of fun stuff. And after our phone call, they said, "Why don't you just start charging for this?" And I was like, "That's crazy. Who's going to pay me to talk to me about this? Like, this is stuff people can look up online. It's not that serious." They're like, "No, you should do it." So I sat with it, and then I did the logical thing that everyone does when they decide they're going to start a business. I registered an LLC. And then I did nothing with it. I sat on that for a whole year because I said, "Oh, I'm going to plan everything out. It's going to be perfect and blah, blah, blah." But I took no action. So it wasn't until someone called me out on it was I able to hire the support that I needed, a business mindset coach, and really just, go all in. But the journey of entrepreneurship has, many layers to it, which maybe we can get into later. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay. So you started, and what happened? Things took off, or
No.
was it? Yeah. Yeah. I love your honesty. No. So what really transpired, if you don't mind?
What really transpired was like I said, I hired that business mindset coach. And within 3 months, I, hit 9K. Okay. And, that felt good. That was great or whatever. But it wasn't me. Because when I originally decided I was going to go into this online business, coaching kind of space, I said, I want to do leadership. over or almost a decade in the, US military. That's my jam. I know how to lead. I know how to create leaders. I know how to coach. I know how to bring that out of people and get them to where they want to go. But my coach at the time said, no, that's not marketable. Leadership, that's a corporate thing. No one cares about that. But I wasn't confident in myself and my skill set. So I said, she knows better than me. She's been in this digital space longer. I'm going to go with what she said. And I'm just going to, copy what she's doing, because that was the thing during that time. And like I said, it wasn't me. So I ended up burning myself out, right? Because I was, trying to do all these things at once, be all these places, be all those things, but it wasn't authentic. So I shut my business down. And that was right around the time that I was pregnant. So all those things kind of coincided at the same time. And so after that, having my child, I was able to look at the coaching space in a completely different light. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do things different this time. I am going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. So after that, it was just kind of this ongoing evolution of what does that look like for me? And finally getting to the point where we're at now, where I'm comfortable with what I'm putting out there because I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And being able to say, we're going all in, right? Whether or not it's a good day or whether or not it's a bad day, we are all in this and we're doing this and we're moving forward. And so making that decision, that's when I can tell you that the light bulb went off and momentum was created almost instantaneously because it was here. It was never about the strategy. It was never about the offers or the freebies. Granted, everything has its place, but it was about me. And so that's the biggest thing I can say to any entrepreneur is
I
what is
totally
mindset.
get it. Go ahead, say it again. I guess
The bulk of it is mindset. Everything else will fall into place once you have it figured out up here.
I love the fact you're saying that, is because I think I shared with you that I wanted to do this 20 years ago and I was told the same exact thing you were told. No. Yeah. And so yeah, it took me 20 years to pop up and go, no, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And not everyone is going to understand your vision.
No.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was cool with the wait, but how many people are willing to wait?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we hear all the time about, the rate of entrepreneurial failures, or especially in the online space with people popping in and out of, these digital businesses like, oh, it doesn't work. I don't think that's the case. I really think it comes down to, again, the mindset. How are you showing up? Are you committed, or are you committed conditionally?
If this happens, I'll do blah, blah, blah. I love that. And because that's conditional.
And it's okay if you're not, because not everybody's cut out for this. But if you know that about yourself, you should probably just, keep it a side hustle or go back and get a job. Because to really create all of that stuff that we hear about, it's like you said, that takes time and it takes patience. But you also have to be able to hold that energy within yourself that we're going to get through this. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're exposed. It's like being naked in front of the whole entire world. Because all these things that you thought you had figured out, the especially as women, the insecurities and everything. Oh, I'm good. I'm in my 30s or my 40s or whatever. I'm good on that. That's not me anymore. But when you're an entrepreneur, it all comes out.
Every bit of it.
Yeah. And so you have to be good with yourself and be able to, like I said, maintain that, because otherwise it won't work. And I know that's probably not what I'm supposed to say, but that's the reality of it, that not enough people are told.
I love the fact you're honest, because we really need to understand that, yeah, you got to be strong. That imposter syndrome, I've talked about it with other people before. That is such a true thing. And I love the fact that you said we're naked. We are really naked in front of people.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
We're naked, and then our ego comes into play. Oh, well, what are people going to think? I don't want my friends and family to know that I'm doing this. Or, oh, that's too expensive. No one's going to buy that. Or, oh, I just, create this website and no one's looking at it. Like, all of that is about us. And it goes back again to that nakedness. Here I am. I'm vulnerable. People are going to see me for who I am. And that's scary when we live in a society that's all about optics and image.
Yes. Okay. So now you're making me laugh, because all of that is so true. And I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that's what makes you the entrepreneurial leadership coach, because you actually are truthful and honest about reality of what's going on.
I mean, it's important to really get that clear to, for clients to appropriately set their expectations. Especially, yeah, especially the way that we see things are going, societally and economically, right? There's going to be people coming more into this entrepreneurial space every single day as we move forward into 2025 and beyond.
They'll have to. They'll have
Oh,
no
yeah.
option.
Oh, yeah. So if you're in it for a quick buck,
Yeah.
this may not be it for you.
Mm-mm. No, you need to go sell some little doohickey to get a quick thing. This
Sure.
is not it.
And that's okay.
Hey, I've sold doohickeys before.
Yeah.
We all have.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we have a coaching business for leadership entrepreneurs. The question is how do you balance all of this? Because you are an expat. You actually are a mom of 4 children,
Yes.
aging from what?
10 to
what?
20 months. So they're all under 12.
And on top of that, you have a business and a husband.
Yes. Somewhere in the mix.
And how do you manage all of that and still maintain your business?
Priorities, right? What is most important to me in these moments is my children, because these years I will not get back. My oldest is already 10 and able to do a lot of stuff on his own. So that takes precedence for me right now. Business is, third or fourth on the list. But realizing I don't have to do everything right now. My journey is my journey. So if I'm not at 6 figures yet, if I'm not at 7, if I'm not going big or going home, that's okay.
Yeah.
I need to do what I need to do. And I won't even sit here and lie and say that I have balance. I don't. Some days require more attention than others. Right? Some days I may be in the middle of recording something and I have to stop because, my children need me, or there's some kind of disaster or fire I need to put out. That's just what it is.
And we spoke about that before we started, that if one of the children comes in, that's reality. That's life. That's what everybody has to deal with.
Yeah. Like, when was it? It's about a month ago. My daughter was diagnosed with benign Rolandic epilepsy. And, that was, we had to take her to, the emergency room. It was like I had a paper for one of my MBA classes that was due that night that I had procrastinated on that I needed to finish. And, I was in the middle of closing out one of my low ticket programs that's, kind of in an intimate space. So once we came back from the clinic, I stayed up until 6 o'clock in the morning, finishing that paper. We came back from the clinic around 3 in the morning. I finished that paper, and then we rested. The next day we had to travel to take her to a neurologist. But I was still showing up in my business because I took my laptop with me.
Yeah.
And I closed 2 high ticket sales that day. And so my point is, just because you have to give in certain other places doesn't mean that those places will necessarily lack. You just have to be able to move around, and maybe it comes more naturally to me because of my background in the Air Force. I was always having to, go, go, go.
I call it the dance. I call it
Huh?
the dance. I call it the dance.
The dance, is that what it is?
Yeah. You're always having to maneuver around and work in ways that maybe the average person wouldn't think about working.
Yeah. And with that, I will also say, I know when to listen, when it's time for me to pull away. That was very difficult for me before. But with the help of my husband, he reminds me, I've been able to stay on top of that more. Like, okay, it's time to stop. Or, my body is telling me, or my mind is it's just not in it right now. It's time to pull back.
And how's your daughter doing?
She is doing well. She's back to her bossy self, I guess you could say. So she's good.
Well,
Thank
she
you for
has
asking.
3 brothers. She's got to be a little bossy.
She does. She keeps all of us in line. That's my muscle.
So, what advice do you have for other women who are just thinking about, you already alluded to a little bit, but they're thinking about starting their own business, but have not done so just as of yet?
This is going to sound cliche, but just do it. Just do it. Don't do what I did. Don't sit on it for a whole year trying to get everything perfect, because whatever you come out with right now, you don't have to be married to that. You're going to evolve. Things are going to change, and that's okay. But if you really want to, create something that you can eventually use to sustain yourself, your family, build some kind of security, a legacy, whatever it is, just start. Because a lot of people have great ideas and they never pull the trigger on them because of those things that we mentioned earlier. So just do it and then figure it out along the way. Do it ugly and do it messy, but just do it.
I find that everything changes. And
Mhm.
I mean, even if you throw it out there and you say it's 70, 75%, and then you start finding the problems, they're fixable, guys.
Oh yeah, everything is figure outable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like your figure outable. That is a cute term.
I can't take credit for it, but yeah.
It really is cute. All right. What about a female entrepreneur who's been in the business a little bit, but possibly struggling or having some self doubt? Any suggestions?
If she's having self-doubt and she has already reached some level of success, I would say, first of all, go back and remember that you are farther along in your journey than most people will ever get, because they will quit a heck of a lot sooner than you ever got to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Remember your why you decided to do this. Not the why that you tell people, because you want them to think that you're amazing. Your real why. When you are lying in bed at night, that thing that keeps you going, go back to that. Then think about all the things that you've done to get to this point that worked for you. Not the things that went wrong, but the things that worked, the processes, the offers, whatever it is, double down on that. And then decide, what is the next level that you want to go to? Fully commit to that. Not conditionally, fully commit to it, because what got you to this point, you're going to need to step on the gas a little bit more. And
Okay.
then I have to do a personal plug for leadership, because we've all heard that the market is crowded. So the next thing I would tell her is, up to this point, I'm 99% sure that you have not stepped up as a leader. So that is what is really going to just take you to the next level. No longer being, oh, I'm just this, anonymous business owner in the shadows. No, you need to be that CEO. You need to be that leader. And the reason for that is because that's what's going to help you stand out, position yourself in whatever industry you're in, and make a name for yourself, because most people are not doing that. And that's why they kind of fade into the background. And that's not you. So those are
Wow.
the things I would say.
That is amazing. Guys, this is a wealth of knowledge that she is giving you. All right. Knowing what you've learned so far in business, what
Mhm.
advice would you go back and give that 18-year-old self?
That 18-year-old self, I'm going to be completely candid here, and this may ruffle some feathers. I would tell my 18-year-old self to skip college. Skip college, uh, keep working your little job that I had at the time, stack bank, and think about a way you can make that money work for you. Not you working for the money. That's what I would go back and tell my 18-year-old self. Yes, I have, the degrees, I have the certificates, whatever. But I did all of that stuff in kind of a reactionary mode, and of expectations that were set by society,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Especially as, a woman of color. I'm the only one in my family to go this far in education. So that's what I would tell myself.
Wow.
Unless you have like a solid plan, like I'm going to go be a doctor, I'm going to go be a lawyer, engineer, these types of fields that require you to have a 4-year or longer type of degree, I would tell myself, don't do it.
And I don't think you're going
Especially
to ruffle feathers here. You're not going to ruffle feathers here, because I think a lot of us have already understand that. But I love the fact that you added a caveat into that. That caveat was bank. Learn how to
oh
make your
yes,
money work for you.
yes, it's so important. Like we talked about earlier, things are changing, and they're not going to go back to the way they were even 2 years ago. So we have to be prepared to adapt and think differently, not just sit back and say we wish that things were the way they were 2 years ago, decades ago. No, it's not going to go back to that. How are we going to move forward and, still make something for ourselves, for our children, for future generations? And I really think, excuse me, I really think if you have the mindset, entrepreneurship is the key. I really believe that wholeheartedly.
It is. It is. I believe that too, especially in today's world, because that's what people have to do to be able to make a difference, not only in someone else's life, but in their own life.
Oh, yeah. And it's more than just, everybody talks about the laptop lifestyle or the financial freedom, as it were. It's more than that. You build character. You really see who you are when you're naked in front of everyone, right? Are you going to fall back, cry about it, and disappear? Or are you going to say, okay, this is fuel for me. This is my time to rise, to shine? And that patience that you talked about.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
there's a book in your midst of nakedness.
maybe. But yeah, that resilience. We hear a lot of people in different, areas talking about resilience with children. We need society that's resilient. I think entrepreneurship helps with that. Yes, go downstairs and ask.
I love it. It's real.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Do you mind giving us a tip on how are you planning for the new year right now?
Wow. So I've already got my new year planned out. Um, so I have my signature group program that's opening up in January. I already have spots filled for that. I am running my low ticket kind of entry level offer that I run monthly. That's kicking back up in January. I have a summit coming up next week. I have all my public speaking booked out for the rest of the year. I have a YouTube channel that I'm working on for the new year, a book for the new year, and I just opened up early registration for my retreat for next year as well.
Girl, you got your act together.
I mean, I try. That's what I mean. We have to be all in.
That's what makes you the leadership coach, because if someone was a part of your leadership program, they would already probably have all these steps in place because you would have taught them how to make it happen.
Yes. And, that was something big for me. If I'm speaking to people about these things, I need to be living that. I can't just tell you to go out and do it if I'm not doing it myself.
Definitely. What is the key strategy that you've done in business that people have told you, no, that's not going to work, beyond you starting your leadership coaching program? What is, like, maybe a marketing tip or something that you wanted to do and everybody told you no?
There's so many, but this one, because I know it's huge in the industry, I stopped doing free events. I know that's like the standard in coaching, but for me, it did not work.
Mm-hmm.
So I said,
you stopped doing coaching, like events, like to nurture people to get into your program, or speaking for free
no,
events?
the first one. So doing like free master classes and challenges, webinars, free stuff, that kind of thing. I stopped doing that.
Good for you. I think
And
that's
I
a
would
key too.
Yeah, and I would say for anyone listening, like, and it goes beyond just, what I said about doing free events. If someone is telling you to do something in your business that deep down inside that you just don't want to do, not because you're afraid of it or because it's new, but you just know it's not aligned with you, don't do it. Full stop. I don't care what it is. I don't care if they tell you that it can make you $10 million in your sleep. Don't do it if it doesn't feel right for you. And that's the key to leadership in this space.
I love your honesty. I really do, because that is something that most people won't tell you. But if it doesn't feel right, it's not your jam.
It's not. And I tell my clients, I'm not here to make you a copy of me. I'm here to guide you and empower you and support you while you navigate what's right for you. So I can tell you what I do, but what I do works for me. So we can explore different strategies, different marketing, techniques that can possibly work for you, but not me just handing it to you and here, just no. Because you won't be able to repeat that success if I just give you, the step-by-step playbook that has worked for me. And I think that is a very two-dimensional view of what it means to guide people through their business journey. Woo, I'm just saying all these kinds of controversial things today.
I love it though. I love it. So if you had a superpower for just one day, 24 hours, what would it be?
A superpower just for one day. I don't know if you would call it a superpower, but I would just make sure everybody on the planet had what they needed. So we could, mitigate a lot of the things that happen, because that comes down to inequality.
People need different things too. And that's the key. I mean, we could be in one part of the world and they need water. I mean, they can't even get water. They have to walk how long to a stream? Maybe a day sometimes, who knows?
Yeah.
People don't realize that, much less, somebody think they need a Ferrari, which they don't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love that superpower. All right. What's one fact about you that a lot of people don't know about you?
Ooh, that people don't know about me. I don't really know. I'm just trying to think of what it would be, because there's things, but it's nothing that's really like interesting.
Mine, I always tell everybody mine, but mine's pretty funny. I used to dance, and I actually owned a dancing school, and I would go to daycares and actually
Oh,
teach
wow.
at daycares. And I walked into this one daycare, and I was just marketing, and the lady said, "No, no, we really don't need that or want that." And the son was there, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you do." He goes, "You won her." And she goes, "What do you mean I won her?" He goes, "No, she can really dance." And she goes, "How do you know that?" "Oh, she's been known to hop up at the pizza joint and do tabletop dancing."
Wow.
It was in high school. It was a threat or something, or yeah, do this or blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, I'll dance on top of the table. No big deal. And so did it, and then I didn't even know who the guy was, to be honest with you. So that's
Wow.
my funny one. Yeah, there's probably a few more, but that one's really the funny one. All
I mean,
right.
I wouldn't do anything like funny, but my first job, I was a telemarketer.
Oh, that's cool. You have to have thick skin for that.
Well, it was inbound, so they were calling me.
Oh, okay. So they were calling you, but still, come on.
But it's just funny to think about now, because I was making like $7.50, and I thought I was like killing it back then.
I know. I understand that when you think, okay, oh wow, I'm doing really good. It's
Yeah.
under $10.
Yeah.
All right, your favorite book.
My favorite book is The Outsider by Richard Wright. Favorite fiction book.
Love that. Do you have a nonfiction?
Nonfiction, for me, it would have to be religious text. It would have to be the Quran.
Love it. What about your favorite song?
Favorite song? I don't really listen to music anymore. Favorite song?
Well,
Even
go
when I
back.
did listen to music, I don't even know if I really had like a favorite song. I liked a lot of different songs. I would say my favorite artist was Prince.
Okay, so we can find a Prince song and you'll love it, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right. Hopefully I pick out the right one for you. Favorite quote.
Favorite quote would have to be something from my father, because he had a lot of good ones. If the phone rings, answer it. Which is a metaphor for life. You have an opportunity, pick up the phone.
And what was his name?
His name was David.
David
Yeah,
McCraney.
that was my best friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is so sweet. Oh my God. I love it. If the phone rings, answer it. It's so true, especially in what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we do for a living, if we don't answer the calling that's put upon us by God, higher power, whatever, what
Yeah.
happens?
Exactly. And how many of us, self-sabotage?
100%.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you stay motivated?
How do I stay motivated? Reminding myself of why I'm doing this.
Mhm.
Reminding myself, okay, what is it that you want to accomplish? And that doesn't mean that there's days that are not lacking motivation, but and I think it's more about discipline than motivation. I think you have people that are very motivated, but it's bringing that motivation into action, and that requires discipline.
Discipline is key for
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're a fitness girl. You understand that as well.
Oh yeah. And being military, like that was that was a part of it. Nothing happens without that.
100%. All right. What is the best way for our audience to stay in touch with you?
The best way to stay in touch with me is on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Okay.
Both
And
platforms.
is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to share with the female entrepreneurs who are listening?
No, I think I probably said too much.
I don't think you did, Sutton. You were perfect. You really were. They're going to fall in love with you. Your content is just a notch above what anybody else normally gives. So they have, I'm
Oh,
sure,
wow.
fallen in love with you. You've given great tips and advice, and it's amazing.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm.
And thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.